January 16, 2024. The time is 2:01 p.m. I'm calling this meeting to order. In attendance are Commissioners Brooks, Matari, and Duncan. Please join me in a moment of silence. All right. A Pledge of Allegiance, and Corey, would you lead us?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Changes to the agenda. We add an item, add an emergency item. I don't know that we'll need to make a decision, but we'll see how that goes. Regarding the flood and community development.
25.
Well, I was going to handle it first as soon as Greg is here, so we can just handle it first. Is there a motion?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, then I move that we add the discussion about community development's flooding.
Just a sprinkler broke, we don't know why.
Oh, hold on, we got to do a whole,
I was just waiting for Bruce to second in order.
I second it.
Oh, but you
I
seconded
hadn't made
before
the
she
motion.
first did.
Oh, I thought you had, so forgive me.
it's okay.
Bill Brooks,
What? Aye.
Commissioner Matari,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right. We'll go ahead with public comments. Hearing none. I'll go through the minutes.
I move that we approve the meeting minutes, items 1 and 2.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Matari,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. And consent calendar.
I move that we approve the consent calendar, items 3 through 6.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. And payables.
I move that we approve the payables for January 8 through 12, 2024 in the amount of $785,120.14 and jury panel payments in the amount of $4,298.28.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Matari,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, now we'll talk about the incident that happened, I don't know, about noon today.
Yep, right around noon. Sprinkler pipe broke in the closet, one head blew off, we don't know why, no fire, no gas leak, just happened, could have been an old head that just failed. I have ServPro here gonna help clean it up, dry it out. They'll be off for a couple days, and community development, HR will probably be off a couple days. You guys can have your meeting tonight. The fire inspector wants us to have somebody walk the halls throughout the night. I don't know how we're gonna arrange that. If we're gonna have to hire a security guard or something to do that until we get the system fired back up. I'll have to have Patriot come back in and look at the whole system, and then we can charge it back up and get the water going again.
Okay, so by someone walking the halls like 24/7?
Yes. When we're here, somebody could do it, but it's gonna be from, like, janitors be out here about 2:30 or 3, so we need someone from like 3 to 6 or 7 in the morning. And they'd have to walk this building and the old courthouse building.
Okay. And do we
I'd
normally?
get my guys, but I think we're gonna be plowing snow tomorrow morning,
Right,
so.
okay. So, do we have a security company on standby, or?
Not usually, we've never had this issue before, so I can reach out and see if I can find somebody to do this.
Okay,
And
I mean, it's expensive to pay a deputy to do it.
Yeah, is the entire sprinkler system down?
it's, yeah, this building and the courthouse, it all runs together for these two buildings.
Yeah. Well,
We don't have to make a decision right now, but we need to make one.
I mean, have some, we would need two people walking both
Pretty much
buildings.
it's once an hour is all. So we could have one person do both buildings. And pretty much keep an eye on it, no problem. You know, if he walks one building and walks the next one, comes back, it's probably almost gonna be an hour anyway.
Do
So,
we want to, we could put out an email if we had any employees who wanted to take that on for overtime.
Yeah, we could do
yeah, I
that.
reached out to a couple people to see if they had any people out on injury and no one did. So we might have to look into something different.
All right, so maybe we'll work with Jonathan and just put that all county out, and they've got a couple hours to let us know that they can be here from, it looks like you want 3 a.m. to 7 a.m.?
Probably janitor should be here till like 2:30, so we should be all right from 3 o'clock on.
Okay,
And generally, we have somebody here, and I could reach out to departments. You know, maybe their employee gets here at 7, could do that, you know, until the building gets full.
okay,
But we should be fine after that.
okay. All right, we'll get that notification out right after this meeting. So, thank you, Greg. Any other questions?
No, thank you.
All right, item 8, metals recycling agreement with American Recycling and our solid waste. Director Phillips, please.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. John Phillips for the record. This agreement with American Recycling for the recycling of scrap metal, primarily from both transfer stations, was written by Jamila Holmes for the Kootenai County Solid Waste Department. This is a needed service, and revenue sharing appears appropriate based on current market conditions. The term of this extension, or I should say contract, is January 1st, 2024 through September 30th, 2025. The Solid Waste Department requests that you approve and sign this agreement with American Recycling for the recycling of scrap metal from the Kootenai County Solid Waste Department.
Okay, questions, motion?
I move that we approve the metals recycling agreement with American Recycling and Solid Waste.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. Item 9, postal meter machine purchase, First Class Office Solutions, Britten, and our Mail and Reprographics Center with,
David Reed for the record. Yes, Commissioners, this is a FY '23 budgeted item. It's just requesting permission to purchase a new postage machine. The Federal Postal Service is requiring us to get a new postage meter, which in turn we have to get a postage machine. I did go out and get 3 different quotes, and this is the lowest quote, and I feel very confident in the machine that they offer. It's a Quadient. It used to be Neopost. So I just request approval to move forward with purchasing this postage machine.
and this was in your budget? You
It
knew
is in
this
the
was
budget,
coming.
yes.
Yeah. Okay, questions, motion?
I move that we approve the postal meter machine purchased, First Class Office Solutions, Britten, Mail and Reprographics Center.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, thank you. Item 10, grant amendment, the CLG Special Conditions Amendment 1 with Idaho State Historic Preservation Office in the amount of $15,000, in-kind match $15,000, in our Auditor's Department. Ms. Combrick, are you going to take this one?
Yes, afternoon, Commissioners. Doreen Combrick for the record. This amendment to the CLG 2022 grant awarded to the Historic Preservation Commission updates the project scope of work and has been reviewed and approved by the State Historic Preservation Office and Kootenai County's Legal Counsel. There are no other changes to the grant award with this amendment.
Okay. And will the work be done by May of '24, this year?
Well, the period of performance is 9/30 of, it ends at 9/30 of '25.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know when the work's gonna be done.
We can find out from Michael Bennett. She would have the most up-to-date
Okay.
timing on that.
All right. Anything to add, Jelena?
Nope.
Perfect. All right. Questions or motion?
I'm just curious, where's the in-kind coming from?
I don't have the exact amounts, but typically it comes from the Historic Preservation Commission. Usually their time. I know that Michael has been working on some of it, and so some of her time will be documented, but typically it comes all from them.
Okay.
And it's their time, sometimes travel to like a conference, depending on what the grant is exactly for, so.
But they're volunteer though, aren't they?
Yes,
So how do you calculate their time?
there's a volunteer rate, depending on the type of work it is, and that's what's typically used.
There's a state website that I know that the Historic Preservation Commission
Right.
is using to grab those quotes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay.
I move that we approve grant amendment CLG, Special Conditions Amendment with Idaho State Historic Preservation's Office for $15,000 and an in-kind match of $15,000.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye, thank you. Item 11, approval of e-recording agreement with HOPDOX LLC in our recorder's office. Ms. Roeder?
So this agreement is with HOPDOX LLC to become an e-recording vendor with our office. So I'm just here to have you approve the agreement.
Okay, questions, motion?
No questions. I move that we approve the e-recording agreement with HOPDOX LLC and the Recorder's Office.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, item 12, board approval request, selling the old Mitel desk phones and requesting signature on memo with our information technology office and Brandy Bradley.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. As you're aware, we're replacing the phones that are currently in use in the county with the newer model. The old phones have met their service life and have little to no value. We did find a company that's willing to pay a pretty low amount for the phones, but it's better than sending them to disposal. And they're also willing to pay the shipping for these.
Okay, and how many are we talking about?
We're talking about 690 phones, I believe.
Okay. All right, questions, motion?
I move that we approve the request for selling old Mitel desk phones. Requesting signature on memo, I don't know, or IT.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye, thank you. All right, airport work order. This is item 13. W024-001 Wildlife Hazard Management Plan update, and this is Ardurra engineers and our airport. Ms. Stevenson, are you on the phone?
I am, Commissioners. Thank you. Kim Stevenson for the record. This is the work order for our update to the Wildlife Hazard Management Plan. This is something that Ardurra does for us about every 5 years per FAA requirement. And so this is a $12,000 work order we're requesting approval on, and it's in our budget for this year, and the work will be completed by the end of this fiscal year.
Okay, questions, motion?
I move that we approve the airport work order W024-001 Wildlife Hazard Management Plan update with Ardurra engineers and the airport.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, item 14, board approval request, tax deed bid, AIN 135251. Engelstad is the party who has given us a bid. And so if you would like to open the top one.
The check. So they are offering to purchase the property for $500.
Okay, and so this.
AIN 135251.
So it looks like the charges are $177, interest and is $57, and penalties and fees are $771.37, and then the balance is a total of $1,000. So we had rejected a previous bid of $400 for this property because it did not cover the hard costs. So what would the board like to do on this one?
Seems like we ought to at least try to get our cost back out of it.
Okay. So, let me see, it's sideways in my packet here. So the fees paid out, it looks like, is $768 total. If we don't include the tax, the penalties, interest, there's also Michael Fire, which is about $90. So if you'd like to reject this bid and see if they would
Come up a little bit.
come up, then
Yeah.
it's fine.
Reject it.
Okay,
All right.
motion? Motion? Is it?
You want me to do that, Bill?
No, yeah, sure.
Okay. I move that we reject the bid for tax deed AIN 135251, Engelstad and BOCC.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Matari,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, item 15, board approval request, tax deed bid, AIN 242501, and this is party of Dahl. And this also had been done before, but Dahl is not a contiguous property owner. And so I'm not exactly sure why they have offered to purchase this property again.
Okay, for AIN 242501, the offer to purchase is $1,150.
Which I think in this case,
Said he purchased the parcel adjoining.
he said he did purchase it?
Yeah.
Is it okay if I say something?
I'm sorry?
Is it okay if I say something?
Yes, please.
Kelly Weiss for the record with the treasurer's office. I do believe Dahl did purchase a contiguous parcel next to it through our last auction that we had this last September. So he is, I do believe.
Okay. So I would probably just say to run it back by community development, and then we can make a decision next week. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Item 16, public defender, conflict contract, party of sergeant and the BOCC and Johnston.
This is a new conflict contract with Scott Sargent, which has been approved by the Judicial Selection Committee. He has provided proof of insurance and other necessary documents. His contract will begin as of your approval today and will continue through September 30th, 2024. And Scott Noss is anxious to get him on board.
Perfect. Questions, motion?
I move that we approve public defender conflict contract with Sergeant and the BOCC.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Matari,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, thank you. Item 17, contract amendment, Turner, Townsend, Heery, and the BOCC, and it's with David Mendez, but would you like to speak to this, Bruce?
Yeah, I think it's great so far, what he's been doing. One of the key components here is that he understands how to do this work. He represents the board, which is exactly what I think we want, and he's accountable to us. And so I would like to continue. Perhaps down the road, we might discover that the hours required will be less. But at least for right now, there's still some savings, I think, that we could be had with his expertise.
Okay, so this is a not to exceed $370,000. Can we put a lower limit on that and revisit it in another couple months?
Well, do you think we're going to use that much up that quickly?
I would hope not, but it just makes me nervous to have that kind of funds when we have not allocated those funds.
Yeah. What were you thinking?
Well, I don't even know, I haven't even seen a bill, so I have no idea how much it's been for the last 6 weeks.
Yeah. I think he gave us an estimate You know, I think it was going to be around 20 to 30,000 a month, or maybe a little less actually, more like 20 maybe,
Okay.
because we have a year and a half of construction, so about 18 months.
I would like to get an official bill before we approve amendments.
Well, do you want to just approve something for at least to continue on now, and then we can revisit it after we've gotten the bill?
To what amount?
I mean, we could go with 50 to start with.
So a total of 50 compared to what we already approved, or 50 additional?
Well,
I think he's doing a great job.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but I just,
well, then let's just put it at 100, because once we get the bill, we can put this on as a line item and start talking about it. But I don't want it to be so little. But then, you know, I mean, I think we all agree we're going to keep them, right?
Yeah, it's just where we're getting the money from is probably about 140,000 total.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right now, with the numbers that are coming in with the construction side of things, I think we probably are going to be in good shape. The question is, at what point do we stop getting a return from his expertise? I haven't done this before, but my suspicion is that the closer we get to the completion, the law of diminishing returns kicks in.
So I'd be fine with not to exceed 100,000, which would include what we've already approved.
Yeah. We'll start with that. Once we get the first bill, then we can talk about that.
okay.
Motion?
I move that
Chairman
we...
Duncan, I'm sorry, could I interrupt? Pat Britten wanted to relay on this item to
Okay.
let you guys know that he reviewed the contract and he has no issues with it.
Okay.
Wanted me to let you all know.
Thank
Sorry.
you. Okay, motion?
I move that we renew the contract with Turner, Townsend, Heery, not to exceed $100,000.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Matari,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye, thank you. 18, board approval request permission for KCSO North Detectives Remodel Project to go out to bid. And Lieutenant Clink, please.
Yes, ma'am. Will Klinkafus for the record. Again, we're before the board to request permission to go out to bid for the detectives building remodel. It was one of the major projects for the Kootenai North move. So until we get those bid numbers in, that'll give us a good idea of where we're sitting at for the overall budget.
Okay, questions?
No questions.
Okay. I would just say, let's just keep an eye on this because of the $200,000 roof that we're putting in there. So just want to keep timing and be able to pay for all the projects.
Of course.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, motion?
I move that we approve the request for permission to go out to bid for KCSO North Detectives Remodel Project.
To go out for bid. I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Matari,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, number 19, board approval request, the FY22 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Grant, scope of work change request, Office of Justice Programs, and our, it says Sheriff's Office here, but it looks like our grant team is here, so, go ahead.
Hi, Commissioners. Doreen Combrick again for the record. The Sheriff's Office is seeking board approval to request a scope of work change for the fiscal year 22 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Grant, or better known as JAG. This scope change will allow the Sheriff's Office to utilize the full grant award of $21,707. And once approved by the board, the Sheriff's Office can then submit it to request a review and approval from the funding agency. So.
Okay, questions, motion?
I move that we approve the request for the FY22 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Grant with a scope of work change request in the Office of Justice Programs in the Sheriff's Office.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Matari,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. Thank you. All right, item 20, board approval request to purchase the 12,000-pound lift. That was approved in FY '24 for KCSO shop, but this will be going to KC North, correct? Okay, Lieutenant, let's push your button there.
Yes, ma'am. It will be going to Kootenai North. This was approved in the 24 budget, and the 12,000-pound lift is required. We have a lot of trucks now that are 1-ton trucks, 3/4 ton, 1-ton trucks, and it's a drive-on lift, much safer for our mechanics when they're working on vehicles. So again, we're requesting permission to purchase it and install it in the new Kootenai North shop.
Okay, what will happen to the 30,000-pound lift, or is this in a different location?
That lift is going to be, I believe, transferred to CityLink, and so they'll take possession of that 30,000-pound lift.
So they'll store it until they have a building?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, questions, motion?
I move that we approve the request, FY '22 Edward, I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong one. I move that we approve the request to purchase the 12,000-pound lift that was approved in FY '24 budget for KCSO shop.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Matari,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, thank you. Item 21, Resolution 24-01, Establishment of Commissioner Districts per Idaho Code 31704. And Mr. Christensen, I know that we pushed you off 1 week, but I have re-looked at the maps, and I think where the confusion came is I said yes to option 1, map B, and I had the current map in my mind, so.
Sure, not a problem, and I kind of realized that I wrote the last analysis a little bit confusing also. I'll take care of that the next time around.
Okay, questions, motion?
Now, I move that we approve Resolution 2024-01, Establishment of Commissioner Districts per Idaho Statute 31-704.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Matari,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, thank you. Items 22 and 23 can be handled together. This is resolution numbers 2024-03, which is classify records, and resolution 2024-04, which is destroy records with our Sheriff's Records Department. And Ms. Dennison, are you still on the line?
Yes, I am. Thank you. Michelle Dennison for the record. We are seeking board approval to destroy our records that have exceeded their required retention period.
Okay. Questions, motion?
I move that we approve Resolution 2024-03, Resolution 2024-03 to classify records in the Sheriff's Office, and Resolution 2024-04, Resolution 2024-04 to destroy records for the Sheriff's Office.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, item 24, Resolution 2024-11, Surplus Equipment and Asset Deletion with KCSO. And Ms. Gerns, are you on the phone?
I sure am. Bridget Gerns for the Sheriff's Office. I am just asking for the board to please approve in Exhibit A for some inventory that I did with the county, that they have passed their statutory life and they are eligible for destruction.
Okay, I noticed there's 2 items on here that probably have more than a $250 value. So is that something that can be handled separately?
Yes, if you're referring to the snowmobile trailer and the 4x4 pickup, we were hoping to get those assets to go to auction.
Oh, okay, perfect, because I don't think the notice says that, the resolution.
I don't think it says that either, but I do know that that was something discussed with Darren, that he'd like to have those 2 items on for auction.
Okay, so Dave, would you recommend they just bring those 2 items back with the new resolution?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, sorry, Bridget, the resolution has to say that they're going to auction. So if we just want to, we can approve it today minus those 2 items and just bring them back next week.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. All right, questions, motion?
I move that we approve Resolution 2024-11 for surplus equipment and asset deletion with the KCSO, and I assume this only for items that are less than or equal to $250.
Yes.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, with that, I will call for public comment. Anybody on the line? All right, 2:31, meeting adjourned. Thank you.